Hey, what's up, YouTubers? It's me again, Brian, aka Gamer55551, and I am back with a video game review. And for this review, we're going to be taking a look at, get it up here, Agents of Mayhem for the PS4, also available on Xbox One and PC. And if you're interested in some of me playing the game, there's some gameplay footage. There will be a link in the description of this video. You can check it out though. As far as the Saints Row series go, it's a series that has grown on to me over the years though. I really didn't get into the series when it first came out as the first or second one. I really got into it more once the third one came out, and a little bit of the fourth one. It was sort of a breaking the fourth wall, being kind of like Grand Theft Auto, but in a more, like comedic tone than basically what Grand Theft Auto was. Although there are some comedic moments in Grand Theft Auto series in general, though. So when I heard that Voltron was doing sort of like a spin-off or a different entry into the Saints Row series, Agents of Mayhem, though, I wasn't sure how to process that, though. I mean, I understand Voltron probably wants to do something different outside of Saints Row, for example, though, but so far a lot of people's response hasn't been basically met with, well, it's been mixed at best. Some people have complained about that they should have done Saints Row 5 and so on. But after playing the game for like maybe a week or two, I will say that Agents of Mayhem is actually a fun Voltron game, though. It may not be appeal to everyone, particularly to every Saints Row fan, but I found the game to be enjoyable, at least from what I played. So why don't we get started with the pros and cons? So we'll start first with the pro. And let me get my notes. The first pro I will say is the graphics, and I will say that I do enjoy the visuals that they put in the game. It has more of a little bit of a cel-shaded look to it. It kind of gives off a little bit of that Overwatch vibe to it, to a certain degree, from like the visuals to the character design. So from a visual perspective, I think the game looks nice. The next one is the gameplay mechanics, which follows sort of the tire and true formula that sort of like if you play the Saints Row games, you'll probably feel at home with most of the mechanics, though. There are a couple of changes, though, such as you have infinite ammo rather than you did in the Saints Row game, though. But overall, the mechanics are very similar to that of Saints Row in general, though, with, like I said, a couple of things, like infinite ammo, to each of the agents having their own unique special moves, plus the fact that it's a single player game and you could carry 3 agents at the same time in the field. So yes, there are some difference with the Saints Row series, but overall solid, good gameplay mechanics though. The next one I will say is that I definitely enjoyed the cast of characters in the game. I think each one has sort of their uniqueness. I haven't unlocked all of them just yet, but some of the characters I've seen, like Fortune, Hardak, if I'm saying that correctly, Hollywood, which one of his cutscenes is kind of a bit funny, though, I will say, to even, I think, King, who basically looks like a character out of the Saints Row series. But in general, overall, I think these cast of characters are interesting. I didn't find them annoying or anything like that. So as far as characters go, I definitely enjoyed that. And last but not least, I will say the game is funny sometimes, though. Even though I feel that the humor in this game is sort of toned down than compared to, say, Saints Row, though, that doesn't mean that the game isn't funny. And I mean, it's still, as you can see here, get that up, it's still an M-rated game. Where's my, okay, still an M-rated game, obviously, though. I mean, they still cuss, there are still innuendo jokes thrown in here and there, so it still has that kind of humor that you would see in Saints Row. It's a bit toned down, but I don't have an issue with that, though. I'll get to that part in the con in a minute. But overall, in terms of the game, as far as the humor in the game, I will say it's good. To me, it is good. Okay, we're going to take a bit of a break, and when we come back, we will get to part 2 of my video of Agents of Mayhem, though. I'll give you my cons. So take a bit of a break, and we will be right back. Okay, and we are back with part 2 of my video review of Agents of Mayhem for the PS4. Again, also available on Xbox One and PC as well. Now that I give you my pros, why don't we get out the cons? Let me get my notes out first. Alright, and there are basically 3 cons I have for this game, though. It's the first one will be the side missions. Now, and there has been some complaints about the side missions being repetitive, and that's true. But to some degree, the side missions are fun, but some of them are kind of a hit and miss for me, though. I mean, the infiltrating the Legion layers are probably the ones I had most fun with, rescuing the hostages and coming in second, or dealing with the Legion patrols. However, not all of the side missions are fun. Like, I'm not a big fan of the driving one or anything like that. I wasn't a huge fan of that one. Just the combat ones were the ones that were more interesting for me than the other ones. So side missions are kind of a hit and miss. The next one, I think this probably applies to the PS4 and Xbox One. Don't know about PC since I don't have a PC rig or anything like that. Remember, I use an iMac though, so but whatever. But I will say that the frame rate issue is kind of pops up in this game. Now, for the majority of the time, the frame rate runs perfectly fine in this game. I haven't run into any major issues. The only time I've run into some issues with the frame rate is when there's a lot of things going on. When things get maybe a little bit chaotic, there's a whole lot of explosions. I do see the frame rate kind of dip a little bit though, but when it's not as chaotic, the frame rate seems to be perfectly fine. So for me, and again, this is based off my playtime with the game though, there is some frame rate issue, but I found it to be more when the situations get a little bit chaotic in the game. And finally, last but not least, and this is a response to one of my pros, which is that the jokes are sort of a hit and miss in some areas. Now, as I said, I mentioned that this feels like Saints Row being sort of toned down a bit though. And to an extent, that is true. It does feel like that, and that's going to depend on your taste in general. Some people might have an issue with that prefer the kind of raunchy humor that Saints Row has. Others may have an issue. Others may not find it to be as a big deal. Personally, in my opinion, I don't have a big deal with the humor being toned down than compared to Saints Row. But that's my opinion. I'm sure others will have a different opinion on it. As far as the jokes go, to me, they're kind of a hit and miss. For me, some of the jokes, like the one that I mentioned of Hollywood's earlier video of him in his early career, is kind of funny though. But then there are times when the jokes get a little bit too cheesy, and I think they're kind of dumb. Like the ones when you go back to the Ark and the screen loads and it has one of the agents or the characters talking about something like, you know, those from the old G.I. Joe commercial where knowing is half the battle and all that stuff. They kind of pulled that stunt as well. Some of it is funny, some of it not so much. And some of it comes off a little bit cheesy though. And again, ultimately that's going to depend on your taste. So as far as jokes go in the game, for me they're kind of a hit and miss. Some people it might be, some people not. And depending on your taste, either you're going to like the fact that it's not as raunchy humor as in Saints Row and as the Saints Row games, and some people are going to like that. Some people are going to hate that though. Overall, I will say, let me get my notes out here. Overall, I will say I did enjoy Agents of Mayhem. I'm not saying it's going to revolutionize or change anything that you haven't played before. It feels more like it's the by the book or checks off everything it needs to check off to make it a good game. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just that it's nothing hugely special. That said, I did enjoy Agents of Mayhem though. I do like this spin-off or this other take this spin-off or this other chapter that's part of the Saints Row universe, and I would be open to seeing more of Agents of Mayhem games down the road, though. Obviously, it isn't Saints Row 5, and not everyone is happy about that, though, and I will admit that it would be nice to see a Saints Row 5 down the road, but I definitely came away pleased with Agents of Mayhem, though. It may not be the greatest game out there. It probably comes off, like I said, it probably comes off as it checks off everything it needs to do to be a good game, but nevertheless, I enjoyed it. I had fun with it, and I still enjoy it, though, okay? Again, it won't appeal to everyone, but for those who are looking for something to play after beating the Saints Row Re-Election Edition, or something to keep them occupied until Voltron eventually does Saints Row 5, which they probably will at some point, though. It's worth giving Agent of Mayhem worth a try, though. It's alright. So for me, overall, I enjoy the game. I understand it's not everyone's cup of tea, but I had fun with the title. Okay, this concludes my video review for Agents of Mayhem for the PS4. And again, these are my opinion, but what are yours, though? Have you picked up Agents of Mayhem yet, or anything like that? Have you played the game? Have you enjoyed the game? Have you not enjoyed the game? If you did pick up the game, which version did you choose to go for? Did you went with the PS4? Did you went with the Xbox One? Did you went with the PC version? Is the game good? Did you enjoy it as much as I did, or did you hate it as much as I did? Do you agree with my review? Do you disagree with my review? Do you have a different opinion? As always, sound off on the comment section below. Let me know what you think. And, excuse me. And I hope you hit that like button. I would appreciate it. And I hope you do subscribe to my YouTube channel. Also, feel free to share this video if you want to. And also, feel free to donate to my channel if you'd like. You can do it through PayPal, me, or through Patreon. Links will be in the description of this video down below. It's evening in Southern California, so hope I'll be getting dinner soon, maybe getting ready for bed, and so on. So I will see you again next time when I do another video. Hopefully that will be soon. Until then, from Southern California, I wish you all a good evening. Bye!